guys haven't built one yet. By a show of chat, I would say a show of hands, but can't really do that. But in the chat, let me know if you guys, how many people here have actually are members of ChatGPT? Like you have the membership that you can actually use the custom GPTs. Are you guys members? Do you subscribe to ChatGPT for ChatGPT Plus or Pro or whatever they call it? I know Mark, you have it. Anybody else? Does anybody else have ChatGPT Plus? If not, we'll go ahead and just use what's it called to build? Um, Chat Dev to build, I think. But then again, I know that OpenAI just updated their API access, so Chat Dev might not work. Um, and honestly, I think it might be better just to build something out for in code, and then I could give you guys access to the what's it called, the code for it. So let's do that. I think that's a bit more fun too. So so yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. So let me bring up the code. And does that sound good? Does everybody think that that would be fun to watch? Something about trying to find data, the cheapest data in your area that you can purchase for cell phones, whatever. Because that was just one suggestion. We could do something else. Do you use code block? What is that, Husseini? Let me look that up. I still have Perplexity, by the way. I know I said I canceled it, but I was going to cancel it. And then I said, you know what? It is still a very fast search. Code block. What is code block? What is code block, Husseini? Yeah, because it's just telling me it's a block of code. It's an application for coding. Let's look. Code block app. Ad block. I don't see any code block. Code blocks? Is this what you're talking about? Code blocks? Cool. No, I haven't actually seen that before. So it's like an IDE. No, I just use VS Code, right? That's my baby. But let's go ahead and open up. Hey, welcome everybody. Everybody that's new coming in. So we have one suggestion on what to build tonight. So everybody that's just coming in, we're changing up Friday's calls. We're going to be changing it. What's the title we're going with starting next week? Isn't it community building? Community something, right, Mark? What's the title?
Community labs.
Community labs, right? So every Friday is going to be a community lab, and what that is we're going to build something together. It's you guys come up with an idea, a tool, an automation, um, anything that would kind of you think would be like, hey, I'd love to have kind of a one-click little tool that I could use for this, or I'd love to scrape this specific website. Like if you have one website that you want to scrape, or you have whatever you want to do that you want to kind of have us build together that might be useful for other people in the community. We'd love to know what you guys want to build. Right now, we have one suggestion for somebody suggested creating a little app, creating little code that will search and scrape the internet to find the cheapest data in your area. But we're completely open to another suggestion if anybody has any. What do you guys think? Anything you could think of. Anything that you think would be fun, anything that would be helpful for you today, like right now. Yes. Yes, today, right now, building. Do you know about Wasp? I don't know if he's talking to me. Okay, anybody? Does anybody have any other ideas about what to build tonight? We have one suggestion. Mark, can you put the suggestion in the chat? We have one suggestion right now, which is to build an app for finding data, cheap data in your area. Any other suggestions? Anything. That's the whole purpose of Friday calls from now on. The whole purpose of Friday calls is for everyone to come in and suggest something they might that you might want. Zerk, you specifically, you might have something that you say, man, I do this 5 times a day, I do this 10 times a week. I'd love an app that could take out this one, this one thing that I do and kind of help automate it for me. And then we build it. We give you guys all the code, we give the code, put it on GitHub, everyone has access to it. We could even put it on we could build this right on a collab, a Google collab, so that way everyone can just use it. They could just run it and it runs and it does some automation, some scraping, something, whatever it is. Yeah, safe for work, of course. Can't be anything crazy. Because I mean, we can do the cheapest deals for data, but that's not like a productivity thing. I'd really like to build stuff that helps you in your professional career, helps you in your job, helps you in something specific that you want to do, helps you create content, helps you establish, something, research something, whatever, right? Helps you collect data, whatever it is. And then we'll research it all right here. We'll try to build something. Right, exactly. Let's build a web app that turns the data of a specific site into a data used by AI. Hence, users of that site can have personalized chat with that AI about the platform. I dig that. So you can give it any data or any site, and it will scrape the entire data of that site and put it into a format that then can be just talked with, right? And hey, find all of this from this website, find all of this from that website, right? Something like that. Is that what you're talking about, Alpha? And this could be used on any website. Is that right, Alpha? What do you guys think about Alpha's idea? Preliminary. Should we go with that? I like it. I think that's a good idea. Okay. Go ahead and explain. We can name it Crovel AI. Crovel. Crovel. Yo, talking some 7 days to die. All right. All right. Well, Alpha's explaining it a bit more. I think I get the idea, and I think that would be actually a pretty great thing to build here on the chat. So, I'm down. I think that's really good. So I think the first thing we need to do, we're not going to go really deep into, the waterfall methodology. This isn't a full project. We are just going to jump right into the coding and build that thing. We're not going to worry about front end. We're going to focus specifically on the main functionality first, which anybody can use this. And the main functionality will be put in a web address, right? A URL, and the bot will go there and turn the entire website into data and data points in a structured format. So I think that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and start building that out. Let's move this over here. Let's move this right there. On. Bam, 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 bam. Just organizing my stuff so I can still see the chat and I can still do some coding. Bam, bam, perfect. Yep, looks good. How about Discord bot? AI as a Discord bot? Yeah, so like we've already done a bit with Discord bots. We've already done a bit with AI in a Discord bot. So I think that that's good, and we could maybe next week, once we have this functionality, we could potentially even tie it into a Discord bot. Just use it as a command. Let's see. What do you say? Emphasis on personalized chat, meaning user have profile on the platform, so personalized data available for user A will be different from data available to user B. Okay, so we can't build out like a full platform right now on a Friday. But we could build out the specific functionality, right, of scraping that data from any website. Yeah. So and then everyone can have access to this code in the community, and then you can go use this code for whatever you want. So let's go ahead and get started with that. I'll start a new project. We'll say open folder, and I'll say format AI scrape and format. Okay, select folder. Perfect. Let's go ahead and go into ChatGPT. Come on. Let's exit you. Bring you down. No, no, no. Yes. There we go. Perfect. Close. All right. So we're going to prompt ChatGPT for what we want. We're going to use Selenium for this specific task. And we are going to, we'll use Selenium for this task. For anyone that doesn't know, Selenium is a basically an automation library on Python that helps you automate a lot of different things. Oh, okay. Sorry. Let me share my entire screen. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Change windows, screens, change screens, bam. Live. All right. Can you see my screen now? Everything good? Cool. All right. So, I want to create a Selenium scraper, Selenium based scraper using Python that will take an input for any URL and then go to that URL and scrape all data from each div, class, etc. on the page, text, numbers, etc. So we'll start there because I already kind of know how we're going to do this. First, we're going to scrape the data. So we're going to have it help us create the code that's going to do this functionality. And then we're going to have it update that code to where it doesn't just scrape the data, but it also gives each of the data points, like each of the text, each of the numbers, everything that it's scraping, it gives it the div name, it gives it the class name, right? Because the goal here is when we pass this to the AI, which is going to be the third and final step, we want the AI to have all of that information of what was on the page, right? So the divs, the classes, but in a formatted way that reduces the token length, right? Because you don't want lots of tokens. You don't want to just pass an AI an entire page of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lines of HTML. It's gonna miss things. So we're going to scrape it first, then we're going to add in the divs in a very formatted, specific way. Add in the different classes, add in the different objects within the HTML. Potentially even add in the XPath. We'll see where we can go, but that's what I'm thinking right now. So first we'll have this, and we'll get this working. While it's giving us that answer, I'm going to come over here. I already have some good some good Selenium code that I'm going to just copy over.
Mic
Windows
off.
commands. Do. Actually, let's open.
Mic on. Mic off.
File. New window. Perfect. Then on this one, scrape and format. Come back over here. Web util. Setup driver. That's what we want. We'll just take this. We'll bring it over here. We'll say web
Mic on. Mic off.
util.py. So basically, these are utility functions that I already use basically to set up the Selenium driver. It already has all of the imports. We'll take out the user path. We'll take out the profile directory. We'll take out both of those because we're not going to be doing a specific profile. All right, that's all we need for that. All right, so let's see what it says. So creating a Selenium-based scraper in Python involves several steps. So we already have that, right? Install Selenium and WebDriver first. Basic scraper setup, scrape URL. So we'll take this, running the scraper, and I'm going to also show you how I do this. So if I go to Sheets, this is how I set up all my projects from the very beginning to really allow us to do some good stuff and have it really formatted and easy to copy and paste. Give me a second. And so basically, you just want to create a little, so we'll just say main for right now. We don't need anything major. Probably only going to have a few files for this project. There we go. Paste that in. We'll call this web util. Web util.py. So as you can see, put the name right there because I have a little formula for that. We'll take this web util.py, paste it over here. Perfect. And then we're going to say main.py. Let's drag this down. Bam. And we'll create a new web util or main.py. Let's go back to ChatGPT. Copy this. Paste. We'll save it. Copy again. Come over here. Paste that. Now we have both of those files. I'm going to highlight both of these in the third column, which is basically taking both of the names of each of the files and the files themselves, bringing it into a single copied format. I'm going to come over to ChatGPT and say, okay, great. Now please format that using the web utils.py functions for streamlined efficiency. Bam. So we'll do that right there. We should have Brass Synergy University soon, so every builder team member can have access to free GitHub Copilot. Yeah, I mean, that would be nice. I get, to give people some free access. Yeah, that'd be cool. Let's see what it says. All right. Driver setup driver get URL. And then we have the URL. So I'm going to come over here. Time. So it doesn't have time. So we'll say import time. Bam. I always delete all of the comments. It just takes up tokens. All right, give me a URL to run. To test out for our first test. Anybody? Anybody have a URL to test? To scrape to see what type of format we get, to see what we're pulling from the pages. Dev community. All right, very cool. So I'll take this, put that in, and we will run this bad boy. Let's see what happens. It's gonna pop up a new Chrome, and it's gonna go to dev.to. It's there. And driver created. Let's see what's happening. 4 divs. So I think it's running. Yep, it ran through so it's running through all the divs right now, as you can see, pulling in all of that data. And there you go. And that just scraped the entire website. And let's see. So let's take a look. I want to see at how beginners, 3 reactions, 24-minute read. Okay. That looks good. It scraped all of the text perfectly fine, but the end goal is to organize this data into an easily digestible format to then pass onto an AI system for the AI to give even more organized feedback, data representation of the page in question. All right. So when you're interacting with ChatGPT or any AI, when you give them the goal, you always want to tell them what the goal is, right? Because obviously this worked, right? It works really, really well. It scraped all of the data, it went through each of the divs on the page, and it didn't just give you it in one lump sum, ugly kind of format. But we want to make it prettier, right? We want to make it more organized, and we told it the exact reason. So it is now giving us kind of something else. Let me take a look at this code, see what it's saying. So it's doing the same thing, but it is for index divs. So each of the divs within the page, the elements, it's going to look at the text content. It's going to strip the text content. So it's going to remove also any spaces in between or in the beginning and the end. If text content, only add non-empty divs. Very good. Data divs, append, ID, index, text document, or text content, tear down. Okay. So let me clarify. To clarify, when it's iterating through each of the divs, this is placing the div content into an array. And because that's what I think it's doing right there with the array. And if so, how is it organizing the array after it scrapes in order to format for the AI? Yes, and then provide a script into an array, a list in Python, same difference. Here's a breakdown of how it works and how the data is organized. Array creation, the script initializes an empty list named divs, as you can see right here, divs, array, or list in Python. Um, do iterating through the divs, adding to an array. ID is a simple counter, the index in the iteration used to uniquely identify each div. Organizing data, the result structure is a JSON object with two main parts: URL, the URL of the scraped page, and divs, a list of objects each representing a div element within its content. Um, so I think what would be better for the AI system is if we organize it not into just specific IDs and by divs, but to organize it within the parent structure, right? So to have it within a main parent structure, each of the divs within the main parent structure. Um, so that way the AI can get a better understanding of the page layout and what it is and what all the content is. Yeah, because that won't give the AI a lot of information if it's just ID content, right? So, can we format the divs scraped content into a parent structure where the main parent is the ID for each of the underlying divs, contents, etc. Perfect. Resulting dictionary. This way you can directly access the content of each div using its ID as a key. Here's how you can implement this. Perfect. Beautiful. This is actually this is actually one of the best scraping mechanisms I've built. Because usually it's just like, yeah, get all the text. But this is going to be really, really nice for the AI because it's going to really understand what's going on the page. As you can see, URL, divs, div one, right? So it's going to actually be very, very, very structured. So let's go ahead. Let me say, give me the code. without comments. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And while we're doing this, hold on. I'm going to create git repo real quick. Git commit or git add. And then we'll do git commit all. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just organizing this so we can see when we change a file, when we add a file, what we need to commit and what we need to update our repo. Um, it helps when you do this, when you create a Git. For anybody that doesn't know what I'm doing right now, um, this is taking all of these files that we've just done. It's committing to a local Git repo. So that way, every time we now change a file, we're going to see the file turn yellow. Um, and I like doing this for every project because I like to update um, Python scrape any site. I like to do I like to update this main kind of catalog after a while of updating, going back and forth. So that way it stays updated, and when I need to go ask the AI a specific question, if I need to build out any specific functionality for any of the code, I can just come back on here without having to worry about if this is updated or not. And you'll see what I mean by that. But all right. So we have the code. We'll take that, scrape data, scrape util. All right, perfect. Import time, save. All right, let's run it again and see what happens. Oh, it did the example domain again. Sorry, give me a second. There it is. All right, let's do it again. All right, and let's see that was a bit faster. So I don't think we're going to see it as it's scraping because we're not printing the data as it comes. We're only printing the JSON data after it's done. I could have updated that for each of the indexes. Yep, there you go. Perfect. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. That's a perfect JSON format that an AI is going to easily be able to understand what's happening here. If we look though, you see the divs are just numbered, and that's not great. So what I want to do is I'm going to just highlight, because the AI is still not going to understand what that means. Like, what does div 619 mean, or what does div 623? It's just iterating through, as you can see, for index div, right? And then it's giving it a number, and that's it. So we need to actually get the div names. So now it's iterating through and giving each of the divs a specific number, adding +1 for each. Let's change that to actually have the main parent, the direct, the direct parent div container for each of the divs plus the number and or XPath. Actually, yeah, plus the main XPath for the div. I'll say terminal readout, bam, and we'll come over here. I'm going to copy this, Put it over here to main. Do that so it has all the information again. Paste. To adjust the script so that it records the direct parent container and the main XPath for each div, we need to modify the data structure, the way we extract information, extract parent and XPath for each div. We will find its parent element and its XPath. Selenium does not directly provide a method to get the XPath, so we'll use JavaScript to execute. Execution to retrieve it. Yeah, and it's just going to do that within Python. That's fine. Data structure, we will store the additional information along the content of each div. Here's the modified scrape URL. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Get XPath. Yeah, this is looking really nice. It's looking really, really nice. All right, let's try it again, shall we? I'm wondering if we're going to get an error. Sometimes whenever it does JavaScript within this Python, sometimes we get some errors. But let's give it a shot. All right, and it should be printing out the JSON. Content. Ah, dude, that's so dope. Okay, check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Parent tag is a section. Oh, look at that, guys. Look at this. Okay. This is cool. Thank you so much, dude. Alpha for suggesting this because yeah, this is dope. So if you take a look, this XPath, the fact that we can now you could scrape any website and get the exact XPath for any of the kind of data that you want, pass it to an AI, right? And then you can tell the AI, okay, so this div or this information, I want to scrape everything, all of these, right? And it'll go directly to those XPaths. Or you can say, okay, every time this XPath pops up, um, every time this type of content pops up, I want you to click the button or I want you to do this, which is just a phenomenal tool that it just goes in and identifies that. I do wish it would give a better, name for that, but that's fine. It does have a parent tag. Um, Now let's see. So XPath or Alpha, sorry, because you're X and then that's an XPath. What type of how do you want the AI to digest this information? Because one way we can do this, which is kind of cool, is if I say, okay, great, now add code at the end to save the JSON file into the local download path, the local machines, Windows, local machines, user, Windows user, Windows user download path. And then once we have this JSON file, you could just throw it into ChatGPT and you could have conversations with it. So you could basically scrape, and that also saves you from having to use API. Granted, it's not right there. It's not like what you're talking about, having a whole platform, but it does do exactly what you wanted, right? Um, so let's do, okay, update the code for update the code for, let's see, update the code and give me the fully modified code with no comments. Bam. I'm thinking we could even have a small little pop-up that you guys could run. Like if you put this on your local machine, you could just run it and it'll just pop up and say, okay, what, what web address do you want it to be, right? Something like that. We could use like a tkinter kind of GUI. Yeah, that works too, but it would be lovely if it can be treated as live data in case any changes to website data. Okay, so you'd be talking about, that would be server hosted, um, doable, right? Um, Server hosted, and you'd have to specify, like, this wouldn't be able to be utilized for just like any website all the time. Like users would have to pay for this service, obviously, because you would have to specify which websites that you want to watch on a regular basis, right? Which URLs, which endpoints. And then the server would have to just check, right? Like every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes, it would have to run this. It would have to check it versus its previous divs, which actually kind of works perfectly for this kind of format that we set up, because it would scrape the website and then it would just check the previous scrape, right, which would be in your SQL or SQL database, and it would just check all of those, the JSON format, which it can iterate through very, very quickly. It already has all the divs, right? It already has all the divs, so it would just be able to run through and go, okay, has this div changed? Yes, it has. Let's update that div. Bam, and it just does that, right? And then that's how you would have an iterative, always checking any website, anything at all. And you could even go in further. So we're doing, if you notice, let me run this again. um so with Selenium, this is opening just like a brand new profile, Google Chrome profile. Like it doesn't have any tags. There's nobody assigned to it, no person, right? It's just a guest basically. So it doesn't have any cookies. It doesn't have any session data. It doesn't have anything like that. But what you could do is you could go onto your local machine, um, and I'll provide the code to this too. I'll put it in and I'll comment it out when I put it on GitHub for everybody. But what you could do is you can go in, create a specific profile on Google Chrome. Let's call it automation, right? You call it automation, and then you log in. Like let's say Twitter, let's say LinkedIn, whatever, whatever. You log in to that profile with your actual account that you want to use, and then you just go into the web util, right here, and let's undelete what I deleted before. So you would give it the user data path, which you can find in Chrome. You can find where it holds user data. Just Google, how do I find user data in Chrome? It'll tell you. But it'll give you the actual path. You just copy and paste that here. And then when you want to find out what profile, because it's not a profile name, it's a profile number, as you can see right here. Uh, Profile directory, right? Um, you would just come up here and you would find, let's see, you would have to log out. Oh, well, I'm not in Chrome. You would have to log out of your Chrome profile. And then when you go up there, it'll say which profile do you want to log into. It's going to have the different numbers. So then you'll be able to find that specific profile that you want to log into. And you just put that here: profile 1, profile 2, profile 3, profile 4. So whatever automation profile that you want. So that way you don't ever have to worry about CAPTCHA. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff because it has the session data. And if it ever happens where there's like an error, because like sometimes session data resets, different websites say you can only have cookies for 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, a day, 24 hours, whatever it is. All you have to do is just go back in, open up Chrome, log back in, and then you're good to go. And you can even automate that process too. So like if that ever happens, it just goes to the login, puts in your login information, and there you go. But oops, no. Let's re-delete all those. Save that again. And let's go back to ChatGPT with the updated code. And let's save that file. And let's talk to ChatGPT with our updated data. What was your win this week? Let's see. Um, I know. I'll ask it. What is the most liked? Yeah. You could do all sorts of stuff with this. Now that you have the XPaths, man, that's insane. That's insane, dude. Because you can use JavaScript to call those XPaths directly. So you can, wow, that's so cool. So cool. All right, data saved. So we'll come to GPT. Let's create a new GPT. I'm going to come here, scrape data. Um, what are the topics people are talking about on, what is that? Dev.to. And you could do this much more in depth, right? Like you don't have to do it as a JSON file. You can set up an API directly to OpenAI, to Claude, to a bunch of different AI platforms, to where you can just have it ask these questions directly, and you can set it up as a chatbot back and forth. You don't have to do this through OpenAI, or you could even set up a GPT for this. Now that we have this, legit. Now that we have this, you can set up an API endpoint on your local machine to where GPT can just you can chat with GPT and say, "Hey, go to this website," and it'll call this code on your local machine. It'll go do that, and it'll have the data on GPT, Chat GPT for you, right? So you don't even have to code an APA, or you don't even have to code like a platform. You don't have to code a way to do that. You just set it all up on Chat GPT, which you can do now with custom GPTs. So what are the topics people are talking about on this site? Give me a full table of content and the reaction numbers for each. And here we go. It's analyzing the data. Actually, I don't like how it's doing that. Let's do this one more time. So we'll say, read this file first. After you read the file and you understand the documentation and JSON structure, then tell me, bam, there we go. Now it's going to read the document first, and then it's going to do what I said. Before, it was trying to analyze it as an actual JSON structure, which it probably still could have done. Um, but I kind of like the way that when the AI actually reads documentation versus it tries to utilize code to parse documentation, I find that this works much better, this system. And there you go, dev community. Did you know devs organization? So it's pulling all of that data and it's going to put it into a nice format for us. So what's cool about this too, like this can be used, and I'll put this all on a GPT or put this all on a GitHub for you guys. This can be used for so many different things for your work. You know, I mean, you can run this locally. If somebody's saying, "Hey, I need you to research X, Y, and Z," you know, you can go find 50, 100 different websites that might have information around whatever somebody says they need or whatever you think that you need for whatever work, job that you have, and you can feed that all into this, right? You can feed that all into this. You have your JSON files, and you can just feed it all into GPT, ChatGPT, or any other AI. Claude is free. Um, and you can feed it all into it and just say, hey, look at this data, look at that data, look at this data. Give me a list of all of this different stuff. Whatever you need, whatever you need. Say I'm looking specifically for these data points. Only pull out these data points from the data I'm giving from the JSON or whatever, right? So, and it'll do that. So, all right, still analyzing, still looking. I think it might run into an error. Hmm. I really want to see what it says, but it's writing a lot of text. Yeah, too much text, too lengthy to process in a single step. So this is why I didn't want it to use that. Let's try it again. So don't have it analyze. So after you read the file and understand the structure, then tell me do not analyze using code interpreter. Only read and extract the pertinent information to the question at hand. This should work a lot better. Okay, please do that using code interpreter, but do not type out each specific piece of content in your code. Do it all dynamically through calling the individual divs or through iterating on each of the divs and filling out the table with the data as it goes, as the divs are sequential in nature. First time building it out, so you're going to have to work with it to see how this data can actually be used, but it all can be used. The great part about this type of process is once you have it and you understand how to actually parse the data, how to actually do it the best way, you can do it forever. You know, once it's done, it's done. That's the greatest thing about automation. There is a bit of upfront cost when it comes to time, right? But for example, if this took us an hour to develop, but it saves us 20 minutes a day, that's we make that back in a week, right? So only one entry with default indicating the no title. Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Okay, I think I know what it is. Yeah, because they're not housed within their parent element. Ah, okay. Seems to hold the actual post information, including title tags and reaction counts. Very good. So it's content, not divs. Hmm. Okay. So give me a second. Let's go back over here. I know we're an hour in. If anybody needs to leave, go for it. But I am intrigued. I am intrigued. Lovely. Okay, what if OpenAI is directly passed into the code? Yeah, you could do that, right? Like that's not hard. Um, the reason why I don't want to do that is for a few reasons. One, when you're passing this amount of data to OpenAI, bro, like it's like they have 128,000 context window now with GPT-4 Turbo, right? So that's great, but you're talking about money. That costs money, and you wouldn't want the SDK. I mean, it's just API, right? So I don't even think they have an SDK. It's just all through their API. But that costs a lot of money because every token costs money, and this is thousands of tokens, right? So um, let's go back over here and let's say, okay, if we look at the way the divs, content, etc., is structured, each of the divs are structured within their own div. I want these housed together within the container, within the direct container they exist within. in a dictionary format within the JSON format. Oh no, a free version of GPT 3.5 would not do well for this. Not to mention, I think that with I think that they're the context window for GPT 3.5 is still very small. I think it's still only 8,000. So it couldn't even begin to touch this level of data. Not even close. And then it's just, dude, it's a really bad model. There are models, so it's about a 20 billion parameter model. It's not that great of a model, right? And that's why it kind of sucks. Like the free version of GPT sucks. It's not good. It's not that great. There are free versions, completely free, that you can run on your phone that beat ChatGPT 3.5, right? So there's like Mistral 7B, the latest update, beats ChatGPT 3.5 on almost every measurable metric, right? And I think, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that has a 100,000 context window now, something like that, something crazy. Yeah, Yarn Mistral has 100,000 plus context window that can be ran on your local laptop, on your computer. It's much better than 3.5 GPT 3.5, and it has 128,000 context window, which is insane. That's as much as GPT-4 has. So that could handle this amount of data. All right, so I wouldn't suggest using ChatGPT, the free version, almost at all, unless it's like basic questions. It's like if you have access to a laptop, I would suggest using some of the free versions that Mark just, like the Yarn version, for example. I would suggest using that any day, every day over ChatGPT 3.5. No question about it. There's absolutely no question about it. And you can easily, you can easily do that right there with LM Studio. You download that, you'll be up and running in minutes. And you could have local LLMs directly on your computer and you don't have to pay for them. So it's pretty cool. All right, let's try this again with this new code. Save that, run, and let's do it. And what's cool, Alpha, is, so let's say you get LLM or LM Studio up and running. I believe, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong again, but with LM Studio, you can expose an API in LM Studio for the models that you're running. So let's say the Yarn model, for example, Yarn Mistral, 128,000 context window. You could run that locally, then expose an API. So this code right here that I'm running, that's scraping websites locally, you can then connect it to that API endpoint for the AI, so you can pass it to yourself locally. You don't have to use external API. You don't even have to be you don't have to really use any internet except for, the scraping obviously has to be done on the internet, but all of the other things, talking to an AI, it can all be done locally on your own machine, right? All locally, which is just insane. Because, I mean, imagine what you can do. You can turn your Windows-based or Mac-based or whatever-based operating system into exactly what it says, an operating system. You can build out your computer to literally do like everything you need it to do for you with AI, with these scraping mechanisms. You can click a couple buttons. You could even, like, if I go into here, check this out, right? So I have if I come here, I right click on a like, I have this thing called Battle Station, that I've made myself. Okay, so it's not running because I have to. Do services real quick. MySQL. Have to turn on my database. Um, but this is just to show you. I just want to show you guys what I'm talking about. And this all runs locally. So I go to battle stations, and there's all sorts of things that I can do. I have companies set up on here. I have, I can create products on here. I can log into different platforms on here, all locally by just clicking some buttons, right? And so if you use like Yarn Mistral, for example, so these are templates. I have my own templates. This is for product creation. I can create different products. I have a bunch of design, different things that I can do. So it's all around Etsy and designs. And it's basically I automate my Etsy stores. I have companies, different companies, platforms, Etsy, Twitter, Pinterest, Discord, all right here, right? So that's why I call it Battle Station. So like there's so much you can do locally off of this code, off of coding and especially when you get into using AI locally. Anyway, so we got that new code. Now let's go ahead and try it again off of the new file. I think there's so I think it just scraped it used scrape data again, I believe. Scrape data JSON. Yeah, it just saved over that file. So that's cool. Um, so we'll go ahead and do that. We'll tell it, read this first. After you read the file and you understand the documentation and JSON structure, then tell me, what are the topics people are talking about on the site? Give me a full table of content and the reaction numbers for each. Let's try that again. Slicing directly would suggest it might be a dictionary and complex nested structure. It is. I'll explore the keys and the first few items to understand the format better. Yep. And what's great, so once you do this, I'm going to show you. Once we get this running and we have the code that actually parses this into the information we want, you can then, without specific titles and with zero counts for likes and comments, let me look at this data, dude. Let me look at this data. Actually, I don't want to use Visual Studio VS Code, man. No, 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 I don't want to use VS Studio. I need it. Don't want to use. Get out. Stop it. Stop it. Piece of crap. Yes, close. Close the program. Stop it. There you go. All right. Let's just open it here. Open file. Downloads. Well, let's look at this. Let's look at what this looks like. Scrape data. All right. JavaScript. Uh, content. Loading. All right. We're going to try something else. Give me a second, guys. We're going to go back to main. We're going to do Control Z. We're going to go back to the very beginning. Right here. But I'm going to use the saved file. How it saves the data. Scrape data, return JSON data with open file path, download path. Yeah. We'll copy that. Go back over here. Div elements for div. Um, actually, copy that. I want to get all the div element text and save it all into a .text file in downloads. We'll just make it very simple for the AI. I thought giving it some more information would make it easier, but it's making them a little confused, which can happen from time to time. So we'll just streamline this. Example of save mechanism. Separate each div with do. We're losing people. Thank you guys for being here. Yeah, I hope I know that this was a long one to get where we wanted to get to, but you know, it is what it is. I will give both codes. I'll give the XPath and the scraping code for all of the nested JSON structure, but I'll also give this code to do a very simple kind of just text file. All right, there we go. Save that, run that. All right, we should have the new data. Scrape data saved. Okay, so let's try this again. All right, so we're going to come over here and we're going to pass the scrape data texts in. Easier for the AI to get the gist, not so much different stuff to confuse it. So I read this first. There we go. I am going to figure out, I'm very excited though about that whole XPath finding with the JavaScript, finding that XPath dynamically like that. So much you can do with that. I mean, you could do some really cool stuff, especially as you get into the agents, like when you get into multi AI agents that are discussing things, talking back and forth, and when they say, oh, okay, here's this data, let's click on this link. We need to go find this, right? And I mean, oh, dude, there's so many cool things you could do. You could have agents basically, and there you go. Here you go. So that worked. We got the data. There you go. What was your win this week to junior developers, topics, programming, beginners, career, productivity, 174 reactions. And I'm going to say put that into a table format. So you can easily scrape data just like this. Now you can do this off of any page. Very simple. topic, reactions, and comments. I try to get fancy with the XPath and I try to get fancy with all that other stuff when we could have just used text file from the very beginning. Would have been done in like 30 minutes. But this is coding, guys. This is how it works. I mean, it does take time. It's actually something impactful, you know. I plan to use this countrywide, something like Youth Impact Project, but need to work on the API thing. Each user of the bot will provide their own personal API key, so nobody is spending anybody's token. Yeah, man. I mean, what you could even do, like what Mark showed, you know, with the ML um or the LM what is that called? I have it on my computer. I just never use it. LM Studio. Like with what Mark showed with LM Studio, you can wrap it all. Yeah, you could wrap it all into like a how to. You could wrap it into a package, step by step. You can give everybody the code to do it, um, and then they could run it all locally, right? Which is really really cool. And here we go. There you go. You have your data. So pretty cool. All right. So that is the that is the that is the call for the night, guys. What do you think? I'm gonna put this up on a. I'm gonna put both codes up on the um, the GitHub. One that is a nested JSON structure, one that is a .text file. Um, I really think that the nested JSON structure has a lot more potential than a .text file because of what you can do with it, especially with that XPath. Like passing that to other scrapers that you design to go specifically to a website using Selenium, click on a very specific XPath. Like there's a lot of cool, man, there's so many cool things that you could do with that. So I really, really like that. So thank you for this. I learned a lot tonight. I hope you guys learned something. Even if you're not developers, I really hope that what you're getting from this is like you can build whatever you want. You know, that's the main take I want to give from these Friday calls with everybody, is to start utilizing this technology in a real way because it's going to change everything you do. Um, and it's going to allow you to accomplish tasks much faster and a higher level. Um, it's going to make people all around you go, damn, this guy can get a lot done. Like this person, wow, what, like, how is this person so productive? Right? Like, so it just makes your life so much easier when you really dig in and you build this stuff out for yourself and and your day-to-day activities. So I hope you guys really do it because it'll set you apart and make your life a lot easier. Yes, there's some uptime. Yes, there's some, you know, there's some time up front to develop any of this stuff and there's a learning curve. But once you actually learn this stuff, the what you can get accomplished in a short amount of time is, you know, you just can't. Oh my God, Mark, what the hell, bro? Oh my, okay, I'm done. I'm done. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much for the call. If you have any questions, let me know. Um, and yeah, can you build all this stuff with the free version of ChatGPT? Yeah, so you could build this with the free version ChatGPT, but like Mark could even attest to because he tried to do that for a long time with the free version. Um, the dude, it's just not. It's not there. It's very difficult. You have to. If you notice how many times did I get an error tonight? Almost none. I don't think I got any errors tonight. Um, right? Like it just gave me the code. It functions. But with the free version of ChatGPT, you really it's going to give you a lot of code that's wrong, going to give you a lot of code that's incorrect, or it's not going to understand as well on what you're trying to do or what you're trying to accomplish. It's not going to understand the different functionalities. It's going to it's going to give you code back with wrong words, meaning like it's going to change some of your function names. It's not great. It's not great. So it's going to be very, very, very difficult. Super, super difficult. You can do it. It's just going to take a long time. It's going to take a lot longer. But I mean, you can also, let's say you don't have 20 bucks a month for ChatGPT. You could also sign up for their API and you can use what is called um, OpenAI Playground, which gives you access to ChatGPT and also gives you access to their assistance function, which is basically custom GPTs. Um, and you can sit there and build and do everything you can do on ChatGPT, but you pay as you go. And it's pretty cheap. It's not super, super expensive. So let's say you only have one specific thing you want to build this month, right? It might cost you a buck or two using uh, OpenAI Playground versus spending 20 bucks on ChatGPT a month, right? So it's up to you. Yeah, and Mistral is also too awesome too. If you're if you're talking about a free version, the free version of ChatGPT, Mistral is much better. Just go to LM Studio and get that. I would suggest Mistral, Yarn Mistral that Mark linked to earlier over the free version of ChatGPT. No question. And you could run that locally on your own laptop. You don't need to go to a website. You can literally just start up. You don't even need internet to run that, right? So let's say, data goes out, internet goes out, whatever, but you want to keep working on, documentation, you want to keep working on something. Obviously, you don't have access to internet, so you can't do anything crazy, but anything goes down, it's there. It's on your laptop. It's an AI and it works. So you could just keep talking to it. You could keep iterating and you could keep changing things. And it has 128,000 context window, which is just absolutely insane. You could pass it entire PDFs and documents and so much. Claude is cool. That has 100,000 context window, free to use. I like it a lot. I think it's second to GPT-4. So if you have um if instead of chat GPT, the free version, use Claude, no question. I would say my top three, like in just like from first to second, obviously 4 the best, no question about it. Nobody beats it, hands down. Second would be Perplexity. Perplexity is free if you're looking for search and research. Third, Claude. Um, and fourth would be Mistral, Mistral AI. Yeah, but Claude is great because not only is it free, it has 100,000 window context window, 100,000 K context window, um, and you can pass it entire files. You can pass it PDFs. You can pass it JSON files. You can pass it text files, Word files. You can pass it all of that. You can just upload it, just like you do in the premium version of ChatGPT 4. And you can do it all on Claude, and it'll still do. Here, let's go to Claude real quick. Let me open up Chrome. I'll show you guys. Show you guys some Claude. If you're lost, just keep coming. Ask some questions, man. Ask some questions. Like next week. Next week. Like let's say if you want to get into some AI, maybe next
Mic
week we can
on.
bring it down. Right?
Mic
Maybe
off.
Blue, if you have some suggestions on how you want to learn, drop it in the chat. Like maybe not right here, but drop it in the main chat, drop it in the general chat and say, "Hey, I'd really love a Friday call where we can go over the different AI platforms." right? Or we can go over how to do this with Claude or how to do this with ChatGPT, right? Like if you're lost and you need to start at some level, whatever you feel comfortable at, please let us know. You know, we need the feedback from you guys. All right, so let's go to Claude AI. All right, so this is free. So basically, you come right over here and you can pass it. So remember, we took all that time with ChatGPT 4. Now I'm passing it the same information. I'm going to pass it the same prompt. Read this file first. After you read and understand the documentation, then tell me what are the topics. Give me a full table of content and the reaction numbers. Format into a table format, right? And this is free, completely free. And this is Claude, Anthropic's Claude. Love it. Please do, Alpha. Looking forward to it, man. Let's see. So this is free, guys. What I'm doing right here. Here's a summary. Bam. Look how fast that was. That was even faster than GPT-4 at completing that. I didn't have to give it two separate prompts. It's a nice file format. And this is free to use. And I just gave it an entire 100 kilobyte text file, right? And it's doing that. So, you know, not bad. Not bad. I have fun with this specifically around call notes. So when I take notes on calls, I have a note taker for me. I utilize Claude for all of my note taking. Whenever I have notes for meetings, whatever. Whenever I have large amounts of files um, for any of my clients, pass it over to Claude. Say, hey, tell me about this. What happened in this meeting? What are the bullet points? What are the action items that they told James, right? Because I'm James. So what are the action items that everybody told James that James needs to get done, right? And it'll be like James needs to get done these things, right? And it's like, okay, cool, because I don't remember this stuff. I don't remember this stuff from calls, so I pass it into Claude, and it gives me all of that information. So that way I can go, okay, that's what I need to get done. That's what I need to get done, and very simple. All right, guys, that's it, man. We've been on an hour and a half, 90 minutes. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody is staying. All the people that came in late, thank you so much for still showing up. Yeah, it's very much appreciated. Love the community that we're building. Very excited. Please go check out the bot, right? Go check this out, man. Go check this out. Go check out the bot, bro. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Job listings, man. Job listings. Check that out. Check out those job listings. Check out the post job. I'm also going to show you a little secret. Going to show you a little secret. Don't tell anybody. This is just for you guys. When you post job, it's going to give you this, but shh, shh. Don't tell anybody. We're going to say review. We're going to say exclamation review resume. Please submit a PDF file of your resume. Don't tell anybody. Give it a second. Give it a second. Thank you for submitting your resume. Shh, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Just for you guys. Let's see. Let's see what it does. Hopefully it works. This is one reason why we haven't brought it to everybody yet. pretty slow because it's using API. It's using OpenAI's new API, and everybody is using OpenAI's new API, and they haven't really optimized it yet. It's going to take probably a couple months for it to be really really fast. Let's see. Let's see. Come on. Okay, maybe it's not going to do it, but give it a shot nonetheless. Go in there, submit a PDF file of your resume, give it a shot, see if it comes back with a review of your resume. That's exclamation review resume. Give it a shot. Sometimes it'll work. It'll come out. It'll tell you about your resume, what you can update, what you can change. We're going to be building out a lot of cool things for the bot. But go test it out and let us know. Let us know what you guys think of it. How it could be better. Um, yeah, go check it out. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. How do I get back in this, Amy? There you go. Any minute now. Yeah. Alpha for people to call. Come on. It's still not going to do it. Damn it. Whatever. Please wait while I review the information. That sucks. Yeah, there's probably an error with the API. It's not an error with our bot. I promise you that. It's the API. Sometimes it takes too long to respond. And because it takes too long to respond, Discord has a limit on how long it'll wait for a response. So, anyway, thank you guys for everything. Thanks so much. We'll see you again next week. And yeah, I don't really have anything else. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Glad to be here with all of you guys. Thank you. See you guys. Bye.